Your bike, come down. How to tackle me?